I have a bombshell announcement, guys. I'm Matt. I'm a radar technician.
Dawson Rider with you.
Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here, and welcome to my review for Mighty Morphin issue 4. So this was a very big issue. Obviously, we got the final reveal of who the Green Ranger is, we got the debut of the new Dragonzord, some more Eltar flashbacks, which is expected. Eltar girl, I forget her name already, revealed herself. So there was a lot going on in this issue after kind of two, filler issues. Every issue is not going to be big, but this was kind of the big one we've been waiting for. So when we left off, the Rangers were in a Megazord battle. But before we get to that, there was an Eltar flashback of Zord on training and sort of discussing the mission he was on last time. And he thinks he's getting in trouble for like eating food or something, but he's getting a promotion, and they're discussing how he's needed and that Dark Spectre's starting to make moves. I think this was the first mention of Dark Spectre, and then like later on when the Eltar girl reveals herself, she talks about how there's going to be a third Eltarian war. And I get a feeling this might have more stuff to do with Dark Spectre and stuff because they're doing that Astronomo one-off, and it says that it's going to tie into the current series. So I get a feeling that there might be some cross in terms of backstory in regards to Dark Spectre and Astronomo, and maybe something cool there. Maybe I'm reading too much into it too early, but it seems like they might be planting the seeds there subtly. But that was the flashback, and then when the Rangers are fighting off the big putty monster that's energized by Green Ranger energy, they're having some trouble, and there's kind of a cool scene where like a bunch of smaller putties are crawling up the Megazord, and Rocky goes out to fight him. But then the new Dragonzord arrives. We knew that there was getting a slight redesign from early on when Grace was kind of making some modifications, and it's not too drastic of a redesign. It just kind of looks like a, Dragonzord 1.5, like a little bit sleeker. It looks pretty cool. I dig it. It's not as different as you think, but that comes in. They do have this moment where they're like, do you want to team up? And you have Dragonzord and Tigerzord fighting side by side, and I thought for a second they were going to emerge. I'm willing to bet that's going to happen. At some point in this story arc, there's going to be a Dragonzord, Tigerzord formation. But that's what I thought was going to happen for a split second. I'm like, I don't know how that's going to work. But you get to see them fighting together, which is not really something you got to see in the series, since one was from G-Ranger footage and the other was from Die-Ranger footage. But when they're fighting, though, I almost said Zordon, Zed blasts him with green chaos energy, and Alpha has to transport him out of there. And they have, like, one last fake out during the episode when Skull's girl, I forget her name. She's one of those characters I'm just never going to care to learn her name. But she, they have, like, a fake out where she's with Bulk and Skull, and then she's like, I have to go. And then, like, 2 frames later, you see the Dragon Ranger, or the Green Ranger. And so it's, like, one last fake out. But then when the Rangers get teleported back to the command center, she's there and she reveals herself as Eltarian to Zordon and the Rangers. And since the Green Ranger was still on the battlefield, that pretty much, I was like, okay, this pretty much means she's not the Green Ranger. But then the fact that the Green Ranger had a big moment right after that for sure sealed it. So she reveals herself to them and talks about how there's going to be a third Eltarian war and all that stuff. And then after that, you get this big moment where Zed's like, the Rangers came in and invaded my home, and I'm gonna do the same to them. And he puts like a trapped energy bubble over the city. And for a split second, I was confused. I was like, wait, is there a backstory about Rangers having done Zed wrong, and that's why he's evil? But then I remembered that he was referring to when the Omega Rangers came in and defeated him. So I thought that was a really cool moment. I like that what the Omegas did to him is having these consequences of him being like extra motivated and rage-fueled, especially with the green chaos energy. So I really like that bit. Like, there's a lot going on in this issue, and that could kind of get lost in the shuffle, but I think that was another good moment. And so the Rangers are trying to figure out how to get in there and everything, and when they are, there's a broadcast happening, and it's the Green Ranger who is coming from inside the bubble because, the Rangers were teleported out by Alpha when they met the Eltarian girl, and Green Ranger was still in there, so he's trapped in the bubble, and he's getting a message out of hope to say, like, I'm going to try my best, I want you to know I'm not abandoning you, basically trying to, not only reassure people, but I guess make sure people know the Green Ranger's on their side, sort of a bit of a Green Ranger rebranding, and he's like, in order to show you guys that I can be trusted, I'm going to show you who I am, and he takes off his helmet, and it's Matt, who is one of the top candidates to be the Green Ranger, probably the most easy to guess, boring, and uninspired choice. That sounds super negative. I don't think it's bad. Like, I don't mind Matt. I still really like the new Green Ranger, like in design and what he's done for the story, and I still think that there is interesting story ahead, but it was certainly the most basic choice. I'm glad it's not the Eltarian girl, though. I don't know why, I just didn't like her for it. Like, if we were gonna have a female Green, I think Grace would have been the coolest choice, but I don't know why. She was like one of the red herrings, but for me, that just never quite worked. Like I said, Matt's kind of a boring choice, but I think there could still be some interesting stuff there down the road, especially with this new approach with the Green Ranger, you know, because he's kind of fighting, not in the shadows when we first met him, but very mysterious, but now it's like the opposite of that, where he's very out in the public and, you know, the Rangers aren't. So I think that'll be interesting down the road. You know, I'm still invested in it. I still think there's good stuff, but it was pretty much the expected choice. I think the one that most people would have guessed would have happened in general, and also based on some of the comments. But regardless, this was a very good issue. Like, it was a big issue where a lot of big things happened. Like, any one of these things I think would have made it a fairly noteworthy issue, but like I said, we finally got who the Green Ranger is, and in a kind of big moment for it too. And I was surprised in the way it was revealed as well. You know, the Eltarian girl revealed herself to the Rangers, and we got some momentum going on that story. I thought that moment with Zed was very good. It was cool to see the debut of the new Dragonzord. Just a lot of big things. This was a very big issue that set up multiple big threads for the future. So I thought this was a very solid issue. I would give it an 8.5. But what are your guys' thoughts? What did you think of this issue? What do you think of the identity of the Green Ranger and the new Dragonzord? Let me know in the comments as always. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you can get notifications for my videos. Dawson Ryder, signing out.